Greetings from the studio. It is a dull, wet day here, and so why not? It's a perfect studio morning. It's 7:15 in the morning, so it's not early, but I've been doing other stuff. But it is time to get working on some music. I've got this track at the moment, which, when I started, I didn't know what it was about, and you just mess around, you add stuff, and you see what happens. Discovery. You just mess about. Then I've just had a listen to it outside the studio, and if you want a kind of direction of what it's about, where to go, to give you some ideas, you can just guess a purpose, what the song could be about, or sometimes you just know. And so when I listen to this, I listened to the lyrics and I just thought, okay, well, let's just choose one purpose. And obviously, the purpose can change throughout the track, of course. And so I've chosen the purpose of my relationship with alcohol because it's love and hate. Love it, hate it, health wise. So it's love and hate is a good kind of contrast. So if we have a look here in my track diary, we've got the track now. So this is obviously where you keep all your information about the track in there. So that's obviously the working title, the emotional name, just guessing one. I'm just calling it Against the Tide, and then of emotions. And then, as I said, first purpose we're guessing at is about that relationship with alcohol. And then, if that is what the track could be about, then we've got the emotions associated with that. So anger, disappointment, frustration, relief, etc. And then we can try and put that or make that into parts in the song, sections in the song, and just see where we go from there. So that is the idea. As I said, it's just a guess, but if we can base on that guess, we can test things out, try things out. So let's have a look. So we go back to this one. We did work on this the other day. Let's listen. I wish you could go there. You come back around again. I wish you could go there. You come back around again. It's calm, it's a bit menacing. If we wanted anger, I mean, we could just go nuts with the filter. In fact, I might just do it. There's an idea straight off the bat. So these should be the same. Yeah. So if these are the same, I think, let's try that one. Yeah. So these are all the original. So what we can do, I like being tidy, so let's just call it original. Right. Perfect. And then we'll make this version the angry version. Wonderful. The joys. So what we can do in this one, we can get rid of there. Well, actually, to be fair, I just needed it in here. So this is the angry version. And then we can mess about with the, just trying to think. If we created a different one, which we will do, I tell you what, because I'll show you what it means. In essence, if I need to set the kind of the default parameter on these ones. So what we mean here by this is that the default where the cutoff is naturally. So if we wanted that to be the default one, we would have to go into, we're in this one. Because it's region automation, you've got to set this one. So if we went to complete control 103 cutoff, that's why we're at the moment. So if I set that as 24, that region is going to play at that doodah. It's going to play at that cutoff parameter setting. So get rid of that one. But now if I'm going to make an angry version, it's, see what I mean? It's a different region, so it doesn't have that default in there. So when I am creating this version, there's two options. So I could create it in here directly, so in here, and I could play it in, well, no, sorry, not play it in, draw it in. That could be one version. I could do that, or I could be a bit more expressive with it and do it in here by using the quick automation tool. So click that. Once we click that, that'll change it there. We've got to do the same thing, put it into region. And then when we move this, my quick automation, it will change it. There we go. Right, so we were at 24 before, weren't we? Right, so let's do that. And then turn latch mode on, and then we can play it in. Where's it gone? There we go. So that can be the angry version. So now we've got, I mean, we could technically do that one as angry 1. Oh, not that one. Angry 1. And then we could call this, I mean, we could literally call it angry 2. Now I'm wondering whether to, I normally just do like kind of, I call it like version 1 or A1 for automation 1 or S1 for structurally changing the MIDI. I'm wondering whether just naming it by the emotion is better. I'm not too sure yet, but we'll just go with that. So now that we've got this playing, we've got two versions of the same bass line. And let's see. We should do anyway. Oh, I turned it off. Turned off the automation. There we go. It's different versions. And there it is down there. So there we go. Right. So that's one way of doing it. And what else could we make angry? So, when we don't, yeah, let's have a listen. We could make this angry. So how can we make that angry? What could we do to make it angry? I don't know. I quite like messing around with that. So what was this? We set the normal. So set the default as 0, because that's the normal version. But if we duplicate it, and then we can do this version, and we get rid of this. Or should we just have it rising and see what that sounds like? Or we could have it all up. Is it angry? Not necessarily. So what we could do is add we could make the attack a bit more violent by putting the transient master on. Now, what I technically should, I could have been doing this over here. Then we can bounce it to audio and just have it as a second version. Because if you make all these variations with effects, you could, you'll have loads of them, and also they'll have different automation for different, all the regions. Whereas obviously if we put it into audio, then we can just have this version. In fact, what I might do that actually. So we've got this version, which has the automation in there. Let's make an angry version, bounce it to audio, and then put it back in here. So let's do that. Let's make an angry version, or angrier. Let's do that. Right. So mess about with. It's not as angry as it could be, but it is different. So what we can do, I'll mess around with the length of them as well. So let's do that. Same again. Oh, I got an idea. Right, so that's got different variations of length with the sustain on the attack transient master. But I'm thinking, we're on an angry version. Let's get distorted. Let's get saturated, distorted, you name it. We could do it. So that is a weird loop length. What is that? How long is it? Hang on a sec. Oh, it's a stupid length. Right. This is the problem. Okay, so I'm going to do that one. We'll fix that later. If it's, as I mentioned previously, if it's not the same, if it's not an exact loop length, it's going to be a weirdly off timing slightly. But now we've made it 8. It's fine. I have to do the same on this one. Right, okay, so we're going to make this angry. So without obviously the what you call it, the volume will probably go up, but we can sort that out later. Let's try Decapitator. Why not? So this could be really loud. Right. Or we can punish it. Told you it's a bit noisy. See what I mean? It's a bit all over the place, but we can make sure. Don't want too much low end in there. Right. And we can mess about with, once again, we'll mess about with this. So drive. Let's try this. Region. No. So that's that version. It's going to be a different volume because of all that. It's all over the place, but we'll take it. So now, if we bounce that, let's call that angry. Right. Get rid of that. That is 8 bars, and hopefully, if I did that, that will be 8 bars. There we go, 8. Wonderful. Right, so let's keep that. Get rid of that. Now we need to take everything off this one, because this is the normal one. And we said we were going to fix the loop. There we go, it's got that end bit, which is really annoying. So, there, and we're going to, oh, no, hang on. One, it's that one. Wonderful, turned it into 8 bars, great. So let's just call that one the original. Once again, original. And this is angry. That's going to be different volumes. Now we could keep them on separate, we keep the variations on separate channels, but I'm not sure yet. But let's listen to the difference between the two. Probably going to be too loud. not bad actually. It's got a mind of its own, that one. That's why, look at there, top left corner, it's a weird length. I obviously wasn't paying attention when I was creating this originally. So, is it poly? It's not even a poly. That's crikey. Right. What? I don't know. What? Maybe it was a poly. No, it says loop length 1. So if we just did that. Could use that. Could just use that. Yeah, so that, because you see how big the pattern is. If I just move that, I got a feeling, well, it still turns it into a horrible loop length, which is just annoying. So we won't do that because it's 2 there, but it's 1.3 over there. Don't ask me why. So what I'm going to do is that, and then it should be 2. Oh, it's still 1. Okay, right. Fine. Be annoying. I will do that. Hopefully that is 2. No, that's still 1.3. Wow. I don't know why Logic does that. Right, this better be. Still 1.3. Right, just put 2 in there. 2. Right, do it. Not bad, it could be a bit more energetic, but that could we just simply, we could use the filter, or we could just make it pump or move side to side. Right, we got any angry drums I could add in actually. They're like a really crunchy clap potentially. Oh, which reminds me, let's go back to. This is repeating every time and it's the same thing, so we need to make either the second bar different, because otherwise it's just the same, or could make duplicate it, make the second one different, or we could do that. Make the velocities a bit different, make it a change. But also make it move on its own. So we could put a filter on it. And also it makes it a bit moodier, more angry, which is kind of what we're going for. But then we could have the filter move on its own, modulation cut off here. No, LFO cut off. This will go up and down on its own. So it'll be different because of the speed of the LFO is making it open and close. So, right, okay, but we wanted angry thing, didn't I? Did I want any of this? I didn't want all this in. Oh, I did, yeah. Right. Now we could make these a bit more angry, these percussion. By using some drive. That, why is that up there? Let's get something Could be a clap, could be a clap, or just could be a percussive. Make each one slightly different. That's really noisy now. Could layer up the claps. This is a good one. So this clap here is a mono. So we could have that one in the center, and then we could have two other claps technically on one on each side to make it a nice wide clap. Beefy, let's just say. So we could, let's listen to what that is. Which other one can we use? Could do one. That's fully wide. Bit long. Turn the sustains down. Oh, they are down a bit. That one's the long one. see if we move the timing. Not mad about these shakers. It's a bit better, I think. Not sure about this tuning. That's better. And if these are if you're happy with the volumes of all of these, then you could, to change the volume, if at all, you could select them all, then go to the mixer and turn them all down, and they all move together like this, like that. And then but if you're going to be exporting it anyway, which I will be, you could just go to the group and just turn that down instead. Nice and easy. There we go, easy peasy. So the options are limitless depending on what you're going to be using it for, whether it be exporting the audio, or you can route the pads to the MIDI in Logic. Bit more complicated to set up. I used to do that, but I believe I'm happy printing to audio, because then you get all the automation. So let's mess about again. That sounds like an intro. Nice. Nice. Now, I will leave the reverb for to put it on in Logic, because I can mess about with it a bit more, mixing wise, but also, yeah, I can automate the ends so we get a long claps at the end, etc. But I think I'm happy with the I thought these were a bit flat. Nothing's moving. We've got a polyrhythm, but it's very consistent. Whereas if we add the sidechain, it could be a bit more pumping and a bit more energetic. So without the sidechain, it sounds more like an intro. Then we can add the sidechain to get a bit more energetic. Although the volume does go down. But we can compensate for that later. That sounds not bad because it's an intro. Sounds like an intro. I'm moving these because if they don't overlap, they play a new note with velocity on this bass. But if they overlap, it's like more like a glide. See the difference of the length of a sample makes such a difference. Now, that's fine in a 1-bar loop because it's got the first stage and then it's answered by something slightly different. So it's like this, then that. Nice. Now it's got velocity to make it pump. Anyway, did we get an angry? Well, let's have a look. I'm going to save it before it all goes wrong. again. I wish you could go there. You come back around again. I wish you could go there. You come back around again. I wish you could go there. You come back around again. Yeah. Well, I think that's a bit more angrier than what it was when it started. I've got to go and have some breakfast, and yeah. So thank you for watching. Let me know if you got any questions. But yeah, I think that was successful. I've got to now bounce this out, and I'll listen to it in a few days' time. But yeah, we're well underway. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.